Hi, everyone, and welcome to another day on the AI Infused Classroom Summer Learning Series. And today I'm super excited to have my friends, the Merrills, who teach in elementary. And I thought this was really important because I've been using AI with elementary kids to get their take on things that they think would be cool in the elementary classroom. So, why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Well, hi, thank you, Holly. My name is Joe,
I'm Kristen.
and we're both teachers down in South Florida. And AI is a pretty new thing, and so we're trying to figure out ways to really find how to use it within the elementary classroom. And I think a lot of teachers now are like, how does that even look? And so hopefully today we'll share some ideas that you can relate to and find some ways that you can kind of sneak it into what you're already doing.
I love it. Let's kind
Let's
of
do
get
it,
to it.
right?
Yeah, let's talk
Yeah.
about it. We're firm believers in creation, and so we try to think of ways that we can get students using things, demonstrating their learning. And so, like Joe said, AI is new, and we are going to kind of just go through some ways that we've already seen it kind of trickle into the apps and the programs that we already use, because that's a really great way to try something new is in something that you already know.
And so one of the ways that we like to do that, and we found pretty good success with our students, was using the Magic Eraser in Canva. And Canva's got a bunch of different AI features available, but this one just happens to be one of our favorites because you can do so many fun things with it, right? In this example, we were talking about the Statue of Liberty, and we wanted to make it a little bit more relatable for the kids. So in this particular instance, a 6 and 7-year-old kid is like, oh, I know what to do. I'll change out that for, something different. And so then they take that Magic Eraser, they highlight through it. And then I think of in this example, if I remember correctly, it's an ice cream cone or a cell phone. I can't remember which one it is, but just something simple like that to try to just change out the content. But obviously you can do way more academics with that too.
Yeah, and I think it'd be fun to tie with argumentative writing. Like if you wanted to talk about should kids have cell phones in school, or just a fun way to get kids to kind of represent what they're learning. And we had fun. We were trying to change the faces on.
Nope,
not yet. I'm not allowed to tell you. Oh, I'm not allowed to tell you. Okay, we'll show you in a minute. But just fun ways to get the kids, one, learning the tool, two, understanding the importance of AI and what it can do, right? And then allowing it to come into whether it's a speech or it's a video or it's writing, and just kind of to go along with what you're already doing.
There's a lot of power in the conversation here, though. I mean, think about it. If you were to use this and then you could save this as maybe a flip video where kids are then recording themselves over and sharing it out. Why would it be different if the Statue of Liberty had a cell phone, right? What would that look like in historical terms, right? And so getting the kids to think critically about how that might,
the symbolism.
Yeah. So that's Magic Eraser.
So from the video, then you go to edit video, and that's one of the options, a Magic Eraser.
Correct. Yeah, you just click on it and you click on edit video, and then that's one of the options that you can use. Yep. Next up, we have Magic Eraser.
So close. I didn't spoil it that bad.
So this one is really fun too because you can use this to change history, right? And so this is the same idea. So we're looking at different, very famous photos of social studies content, and we're literally changing that. And so what would Abraham Lincoln have done if he heard Martin Luther King's speech? Right? Or what would it look like if you would have changed out a face on Mount Rushmore? Who would you add to it, right? Who do you think is a leader for our nation that maybe you'd want to add onto that mountain?
And you do have to be careful. And it was fun because as we played with it, there's certain faces and people that you can't find.
We tried Taylor Swift.
We tried Taylor Swift. I couldn't get it. But that's also a really good conversation with kids about people's image and how we use people's image and the copyright and all of that too. But it was just a fun idea to I love history and I love having kids think critically about history and today. And so it was just another fun way to kind of use Magic Eraser to change something. Just change a statue, change the dollar bill. Who would you put on it, right? What would you put on? There's so many different ways you could integrate it. And it was really just a couple clicks.
Yeah. All right.
So this will be fun.
Right?
Thank you.
I think there could be a lot of fun ways you could use it with the money thing I just thought of.
That is pretty good.
That'd be a fun one.
I'll let you take this
one. Okay, so Canva also has a feature called text to image, which I really love using for younger kids. I use this in my 4th grade classroom, but I think you could use this with even younger kids when we were trying to write about something that didn't exist. And so we were doing a whole unit on Disney and characters and fantasy. And so we had these check-ins every day where they had to come in and write about certain things. And so the check-in for this day was well, if you could create your own person and character, what would their superpower be? And why would that be important? And so the kids are putting in things that don't exist. Like, oh, their power would be to like shine light on whatever or take away hateful words. I'm like, that's really hard. So, but when you type it into Canva, it will use AI to generate images that match what they said. So like the one on the left is silly. He loves turtles. I don't know why. He plays baseball. He wanted a turtle that played baseball, but the one on the right, she wanted the power of like something with light, and it was really cool. And so they could type in the words and then find the image that matched what they had created or that they had written about.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this for writing stories, the text to image. And I hope that from this point on, we don't go look at stock images. Kids create from this their own images to go stories.
And when you're talking about really little kids too, like a lot of clicks and a lot of things can deter people from wanting to use it. And so when you've got a 6-year-old who's like, I want a dog on the beach with sunglasses, you can be like, yep, here we go. And pretty quickly add that in and drop it in. You can even do it in like another app, like a book creator or somewhere else you're working that has that Canva integration. It doesn't have to be right on the Canva app.
Yeah, the fewer the clicks, the better, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So, speaking of working with students who maybe want to get things done quickly, you want to make sure that you're working with your shy and reluctant students. And so this is really powerful if you have students that are maybe afraid to get on the camera and maybe to share their voice. Canva has these things called AI presenters, which you can actually go in and you can pick out different characters. You can pick out the different languages. There's different voices. It's amazing. And what it does is you just type what you wanted to say, and it adds a video of a presenter reading what you typed. You can even change the inflection, which is pretty amazing too. So, thinking about how you would use it in the classroom, I'm thinking if I do have one of those shy and reluctant kids that maybe doesn't want to have their face on camera, let's create it in Canva, let's save it, and then we'll share it out on Microsoft
Well, you can
Flip.
even upload a picture too. So I'm thinking like, what if you uploaded a picture of like
Taylor Swift?
Yeah, or Abraham Lincoln, or made them talk about what you did.
Yeah.
Or there's so many ways you could do it just for fun. Like, this is a character that I created in my story, or translate languages. Like, that's got a whole ability right there. Like, even if you have a language learner, or you want to just make it more approachable, it could be used for teachers on the teacher end. It could be used on the student end, and that's where I think we really have to start looking at AI. Like, this creates cool things for teachers, but there's also really neat ways that the kids can be using it.
Now, just a heads up, there are a certain amount of uses. I think they call them coins in the app that you can use for this. So you want to make sure that you're being smart with what you're using it for. You don't want to just create a bunch of
have had kids do that, where they've gone through text to images the same way, and they like did it so many times, like, I ran out of time.
Yeah, but it is.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is all free and available right within the Canva app, and it's on the education side, so everybody does have access to it.
So this kind of is like that Duck Duck Goose app, whatever that was called. You could kind of use it for that.
You could, yeah.
Chatterpix, yeah.
You could definitely, and I think it's cool because I haven't done it in Canva with like the Abraham Lincoln, but I've done it on other apps where it like literally takes his photograph and makes him come to life. It's a little.
You are so bad.
Okay,
at spoiling stuff.
sorry. It's really good. It's
Really,
really.
I like the spoiler alert. So
I get to keep watching. Okay, it's good.
All right. Next up, we have Magic Design. Magic Design is. I have a love and hate relationship actually with Magic Design. I'm not going to lie, because I think it's important that our kids are the creators of the content. However, there's also times where you need to have the students get the content to you faster without having to worry about what it necessarily looks like. This is a great way, like, for students to find inspiration and maybe think, okay, I want my slides to be talking about plants, but I don't really know how it should look. Let me start here.
Yeah.
It's a great starting point.
It's a writing outline. I'm thinking of it like you did plants. I love plants. But like, what if you wrote like healthy eating, and it pulls up this presentation? It's almost giving the kids like that outline ahead of time of like, maybe I should look at healthy foods, carbs, whatever. Like, it's going to break down for them because you can see anatomy of the plant, types of plant, what plants need. So when you're talking about younger kids, it's almost like starting from the end in mind and saying, hey, you want to learn about blank, start here. This is fantastic too for like Genius Hour, or like some of those projects that you let kids do independently and you don't have a lot of time maybe to like guide it. Oh, I want to do a project on whatever. Great. Go type it into Magic Design, and it's going to kind of lead you through what you need to look for. Right.
Yeah. And something to note here too, all of those slides are completely editable. So if the student does go on and they choose Magic Design, they do have the availability to go back through there and swap out those images, swap out those words, and to add their own content. So if they eventually want to get a little bit more creative with it, they have that ability to do so. And this, like you were saying too, works great with Genius Hour. What if you got kids that finish early, right? You're talking
I
about
had kids who
writing.
want to do that this year. Can I go make a Canva presentation? You're like, okay.
You're talking about, doing a writing assignment. Maybe after they finish with the actual writing, they get to make something on Canva and share it. And so this is just a great way to do that, and keep kids flowing with that creative outlet.
And not make it dependent on the teacher. Right. I think that's a lot of reasons why sometimes teachers don't want to use certain products, is because it makes more work on them. And this allows the kids to be in full control, which is what's ultimately your goal.
Now, I want you to keep this example in mind, because we're going to come back to this one actually. So, but kids can't have all the fun, right? Teachers have to.
Well, they can on here too. I thought of a really cool way, but CuraPod is like the new big thing when it comes to AI in classrooms. We learned about them earlier this year, literally beta version, typing things in, and I was the one who was trying to like break it. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put something in that no one's ever heard about, and it's a really cool app. And what it does is it allows you to go in and pick your standards. It allows you to pick your grade level, your content, and you can create these interactive kind of presentations. You can put in text, you can put in word clouds, you can put in links. They're adding things constantly. I mean, the platform's even different now than it was, and obviously you get to go in and edit all of it.
And there's lots of other activities you can throw on there that have a little bit more of a creative side. So, we say that, the teachers are having the fun creating this here, but the students then can go on and they have the option to do things like drawing and adding other content. And so it's a great way if you're struggling to find resources to use with your content. You can quickly generate stuff. I thought it was really spectacular and how quickly it was able to do it. You can watch in the video. We searched
it's like the first time I did it.
We searched for the Alamo, but you can put exact learning standards in there and it will match it pretty closely. Obviously, you need to go back and comb through it, but it does a really great job of generating that, breaking the ground and the foundations of building the lesson.
I think it'd be phenomenal to do at the end of the lesson, and that you've taught with your kids, and you have your kids go in and put in the standard and put in the activity, and then like
re-explain it
or analyze it and be, what is it missing, or what do I need to add to it, or how can I make this better, and almost like kind of change it based on what they think it needed.
Oh, so that plan example we just shared on Canva? What if we could use that with CuraPod? Because you can do that too, because there's a Canva integration. So you could actually have, what's that? Sorry?
Cool. I didn't know I had Canva.
Oh, yeah. So you could have student created presentations, and you could drop that link right into the CuraPod presentation that you have already generated. And then now you have almost like a curated list of all of the different projects that the kids have come up with. So if, for example, you're using a plant unit, maybe you have your kids creating on Canva. Well, they just share the embed link, the smart embed link is what they have to use. They copy and paste that right into CuraPod, and now you have a live version of that presentation within your CuraPod, which is pretty sweet.
Really, really cool.
Yeah.
And so let me ask you guys, when you think of Nearpod or Pear Deck or whatever, do you think this is kind of a similar tool in that it starts with slides and adds interactivity on top of it?
I think it adds a little more content than a Nearpod or a Pear Deck. I got like specific, it was almost like too much. And they were very honest when we talked to them, like, it's AI. So sometimes it sounds a little more grown up than it needs to be, or you might need to go in and change some of the wording. Science and reading and history, it's way stronger with than like math or things. But I feel like CuraPod gave me more content. Like if I wanted to like go right into something I've never taught before, almost like an introductory lesson, I feel like it gives you way more, and it was really fast.
Yeah, and I found that, adding in the specific standard to what you're trying to generate really did help. The more specific you can be with the AI, the more authentic it comes off as. If you just type in plants, it's going to be way more broader than it probably needs to be. But if you're talking about the life cycle of plants and you type in exactly what that standard is, it's going to populate something that's going to be more useful for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. We also love Book Creator. And the reason why we love Book Creator, and this
that's a whole other presentation.
Yeah. But what's really interesting is that this feature has actually kind of been hidden in Book Creator for quite some time. And I don't think anybody really identifies it as AI, but that's exactly what it is, right? It's you're going on in this tool is called AutoDraw. And let's say that your students created this writing project that they want to publish a book on. And so maybe they have a very specific picture that needs to go into what the book is.
Waiting to like, what is this?
I was okay.
I got it.
Let me preface this. Well, I was trying to do a bad job of drawing it. Okay, so there you go. Right? Yeah. And I was trying to do a bad job. Then I was like, I hope this finds it as I did it. But anyway, so your students can then use that auto draw feature to get exactly what they want to pop into their book. and it will guess what they're trying to draw and then identify, and they can pick from a series of different options, and it drops it right into the book, which is pretty amazing.
And it's still created by them. You know,
It
they still have that right to like, nope, that's not quite what I wanted, or nope, or they can see what it turned it into and say, okay, this is how I need to draw it better to make it whatever. You know, there's still that that revision process that's, I think, is important because it creates that authenticity.
Absolutely. So the next one, though, I think by far is my favorite use of AI. And so I will preface this. This was not meant for the education background, the education scene.
We had fun with this.
This was made for family photos, but it's called Deep Nostalgia. And what this does is it takes your normal photos, your static images, and animates them into something that looks real.
How creepy is that? He's like smiling and blinking his eyes.
So we've taken Abraham Lincoln here and created this AI image of Abraham Lincoln, and you can create a voice recording that goes along with that too. So you can even explain some of the things maybe that you're talking about in the video, share that on Flip. But we just thought this was really, really cool because this actually brought history to, especially like a younger student who maybe that's a hard thing to visualize, right? But this is bringing them to life and saying it gives them a whole different picture and understanding of what that character, that person from history really was.
And it didn't have to be an old photo. You really can do it with any static image.
Can you upload the photo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that's what you have to do. You have to upload the photo, and it's free, but you have to upload the photo, and then it will give you several options of how you want it to look, and then it generates this whole video.
This one was like a very short, like we just
this was a very short one. Yeah, but the power here is really remarkable, I think, especially like when you're trying to make history relevant for students.
Yeah,
it makes it so that it's more relatable because now the kids are like, I've never seen Abraham Lincoln like that before ever, right? And that's really, really powerful.
And I think you could too play a lot with emotions and biases and pros and cons. I think there's a lot of that argumentative place too. I think it'd be cool to even take it and download it, and it could be in a Flip, it could be in Apple Clips, but like mash them together. You know, like I think there's, especially with the older kids, I think there's a lot you could do with this if you just give the kids a little bit of time to play with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What does it do for a voice?
So it would be your voice. So you would be the one recording it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great question. Like I mean, yeah, you could talk with a really deep voice. But
well, I'm sure you could app smash it with a voice app.
I'm sure you could.
Yeah, I'm sure
that would be crazy.
I'm sure there's an AI out there that'll do that for you too, right? That's going to be the next presentation.
There we go. The level up, right? Level 2.
So there's lots of other different tools out there that we've used before, but we didn't have time to get into all of them today. One of them that we've heard a lot of from and that we've used is Copilot, which basically will generate an entire lesson and unit plan. More teacher stuff. We had covered some of these. Murph AI will take text and it'll actually create a video for you. So if you are one of those teachers who doesn't want to record yourself on video, but you need to make a video explain the directions, you can just type out what you want, have it record a video, and then you can save that, and maybe you can use that as your flipped video introduction. Am I saying this right? Synthesia?
Synthesia.
I never know how to say that. Yeah.
That one, the blue one.
Yeah. It will also take kind of do the same thing as Murph. So these are just some different options that you can pick from. We actually have a blog post that's up on this. So if you would like to check this out, we go through a breakdown of what each one does. There's videos that go along with it that shows you what each of those do. Yeah, and you can work from ideas from off of there. And we do have a blog. Like I said, the blog post is up available for you. You can scan the QR code, or the bit.ly is case sensitive, but it's capital A, lowercase I, and then classroom. And yeah.
So I will, underneath this video, I'm going to place all of the links, all of the apps. So those will be there as well. And you guys also have written a book. Am I correct?
We have. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out why my pictures aren't loading here, but maybe I'll try to refresh it.
I know. We're on our Wi-Fi is very fragile.
But it's okay. I can put up the book under this video, and I'm sure you're going to be able to find it here in a second. But
yeah, we do. We have a book called The Interactive Class and Flipgrid, which now is Flip and the Interactive Class. Same tool, different name.
You never know. They might switch it back and you might not have to worry about
it. That's right. We're not the fastest, we're classroom teachers. We're not fast on certain things.
But you're actually in the classroom. You're practicing with kids. And so that's really important that you guys understand, like, this is about pedagogy first, and then having a little fun with the creation aspect of it. So I liked the way that you brought that. So I will have the link to get your book. I'll have all the information that we've talked about under the video. And thanks. I mean, this was really cool. I appreciate it.
Well, thank
Anything
you
else
for
you want
having
to
us.
You.
Huh?
Thank you, and everything you're putting together for all these teachers, because I think this is a really important topic that you're getting ahead of it, and so
It's super exciting.
Just want to do it before we get back to school so people aren't behind it, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Anyway, well, thank you, and thanks for the recording.
You've got it. See ya.